Hi guys, me again. Now, that was supposed to be what Sword Coast Legends was supposed to be based on and about. For those of you who don't know, Sword Coast Legends is a new game that was out earlier this week. It's been made by various companies, N-Space, Hasbro, and they worked with Wizards of the Coast, the actual D&D creators. Which is all well and good, and the entire time it's been marketed as a D&D tabletop pen and paper experience brought to life using the 5th edition D&D rule set, which is that book I just presented there. Now, I've had a bit of a go with the game and had a look at, you know, what's available, how it plays, all that sort of stuff, which led to me hitting the forums and various other places where I was in debate till early hours this morning with various people, exposing various opinions and views, which of course, you know, that's all fine, and I enjoy that sort of thing. Now, the issue with Sword Coast Legends isn't so much the game itself. I mean, I'm on the fence. You've got the people who are wholeheartedly saying, well, it should be this, and I'm boycotting it, and I'm really pissed off. And I get that, you know, I entirely get that, because I partially feel the same way. And you've got the people on the other side of the fence saying, well, it is just a computer game, and it's accessible to people who don't know the D&D tabletop stuff, they don't know the lore, so they can just pick up and play, which again, that's fine, that's a good thing, and I get that from a game developer point of view, and also, you know, just a general point of view. But the issue, which a lot of us fought over, is the way the game was marketed. They marketed it as a Dungeons and Dragons tabletop, basically brought to life version using the 5th edition rule set. Now, we've all sort of picked it apart and said, well, it barely resembles either of those things. We've looked, and there are a few, there's elements there, or at least a nod to the element that should be there. And, you know, I wholeheartedly get that a computer game is never going to be the same as pen and paper. It can't be. But the effort should have been there to ensure that the essence and the spirit of the tabletop game was captured, which is basically what they promised. They said, this is what we're going to do, all tabletop D&D fans are going to love this because it's going to be right up their alley, they're going to know all the stuff, and you look at it and you go, no, it doesn't fly. Things like the skill selection is just a ported version of any other skill tree you can think of. For instance, Dragon Age, it's just pulled straight across and gone, well, we're just going to rename some of the stuff and you can deal with it, and you can level some of the things up. Like, it doesn't even make any sense. You can take Lay on Hands as a paladin, but you can take 3 ranks in Lay on Hands and level it up. So no, that comes with your spell slot levels in the tabletop version. You can't just level it up and go, oh, I'm going to have an uber powerful version of Lay on Hands or Magic Missile. That's not how it works. You cast them in higher slots. It doesn't make sense. And a lot of people saying, oh, the resting mechanic wouldn't make any sense. Yes, it would. It would make total sense. It would enable you as a party, as a group of friends, to go, right, we've done this bit of the game, we've done this encounter, and we're all low on spells. We're a bit knackered. Okay, let's create a camp, or find somewhere to camp, or go back to town, or even if there was just a return to town thing or something, so that you could use the short and long rest options, which are key and central to the 5th edition rule set. That's kind of what it's based around. It's like, okay, you will plan your encounters in your day, and you have the ability to regain things on a short or a long rest. So be careful. Sword Coast Legends makes it an action game and says, well, everything's just got a cooldown timer. So what now? That's not right. Why would you even do that? So there are many things that myself and a lot of the people have been arguing about. The DM tools are at the minute minimal and basic, but again, that's something they can expand on. I mean, it would have been nice to have options to say do a lot more, and a lot of people were hoping for a tile by tile version where you could literally create a town, a city, a dungeon, a forest from scratch, and you could place each individual tile and tree. Basically at the minute they've gave you templates and said, well, this is city A or this is city B, and you can put extra characters or like signposts and various other objects into that environment, which it's not what people had hoped for, but it's not terrible. It's not the end of the world. It's a bit finicky and takes some getting used to, I'll admit. I've had to play with it, and trying to create quest lines in the first instance is a ball ache. It really is. But that's something you could live with. It's more so the promises that were made that people, I think, are feeling a bit betrayed on. If you look at it like a few people have said, as a game, and you take away the D&D name and say, is it a good game? Yes, it's a good game. It plays well. It's co-op, which I love co-op games. It's really hard to find decent co-op games to play with your friends. The voice acting is good. The lore for for the Faerun setting, it is there. So it is a big nod to those fans, but it depends if they can get past the initial gripes. I'll quickly show you what I mean by how it feels on the character creation, because there are elements that are definitely there. I mean, this is the Sword Coast Legends as you load in. Helps if I get the right window, doesn't it? My bad. Right. Okay. So this is what you get when you load in. It looks nice. The background's all moving. You know, the music's pretty nice, and you've got your fairly simple layout here. Now, a few things I will mention for those people who have had problems initially loading the game. The full screen was an issue. What you need to do when you first load up, possibly they have patched it since, so I can't really check, but when you first load it, it might not be in full screen. If that is the case, obviously come to settings, go to video, and change your screen resolution to the correct resolution for your monitor. It probably won't let you select full screen. So once you've selected the resolution, you need to close the game down, open the game back up, and it still probably won't be in full screen. But if you hit Alt and Enter, it will put it in full screen mode, and then I haven't had any trouble since, so that could work. Also, multiplayer and co-op. Each new character you do has to do the tutorial before you can load up into a party with friends for co-op or multiplayer. However, you can get around that. Where is it? This button here in the gameplay, play tutorial on new characters. If you uncheck that, you can pretty much just jump straight in with friends and whatever and not do this tutorial, which, to be honest, you do it with the first character you make, it takes like 5 minutes. It just explains basic, I mean really basic things. So it might be worth doing, but then untick it and you can do what you want with your new characters, just jump straight in with friends and be done with it. So they're just a few little snippets that I know a lot of people were complaining about on launch day. Like I say, it's hard for me to judge now because I've got around the issues and I don't know if they're still there after the patches, so either way, it might be handy to know if they are. Anyway, creating a new character, I was hopeful. It started to feel like it was going to be okay on 5th Ed D&D. Now, you've got gender, male, female, which, that's fine. Your class, you've got rogue, wizard, paladin, ranger, fighter, cleric, which they're all the basic classes. There's a few missing that is kind of sad, but there you go. Druid would have been nice, but I suppose that would be a bit of a ball ache to do in a game. What am I about? They could have done a druid. They could have done a druid. Your races, bit of a letdown. There are races missing. There are race variants missing. But again, it has been shifted over to a game, so you can accept some give in it, to be honest. The main ones are there: halfling, half elf, human, elf, dwarf. No gnomes, no dragonborn, no tieflings. So, and you've got some different variants and sub races. They do a good job for the stats, to be honest. They are pretty 5th ed when you go through to the stat tab. These relate directly to the manual, pretty much. You got a background, which I'm still not sure whether it has any in-game effect or whether they're just there for the sake of being there. I honestly don't know yet. Appearance, not the best customization palette in the world. You've got skin colour, hair, and a few little bits you can move around, but nothing nothing brilliant. But it's not the worst, although in this day and age you'd expect better, to be honest. Equipment, provided you're proficient and searching various things, you can just drag and drop the various items into, he says, into the slots. Same with the armor, but it only brings up what you're proficient with, so that helps. Your stats. Oh, excuse me, dry throat. Yeah. Right here, the green ones here, they are from your racial and class bonuses, if you have any. So dexterity +3, constitution +1, and then you've got your point buy system, which is standard. Each time you go up to certain amounts, the cost alters, and you've got 27 points total to put in. Although it doesn't seem to let you go much above 15 as standard, which is peculiar, but I suppose on the point buy system it does kind of make sense to prevent massive amounts of dump stat. However, I mean, all that feels okay. I can live with that. I thought, yeah, this kind of feels like 5th ed. The stats work, the races and classes a little bit watered down, but I can live with that. That's not too bad. I mean, perhaps they'd bring stuff out in expansions or DLC or something, so not the end of the world. Even the stat system, I thought, yeah, standard stat system works for me. Happy days. Then I made the mistake of clicking abilities. What is this? It's not a list of the abilities that you have access to and stuff. It's a it makes no sense. Scoundrel has hide, so you can hide, and you can take 2nd rank in it, which just increases stuff. And you can take hide 3 and hide 4. What are these? Hide what? Where are we? The thief skill tree. Disengage. I don't really understand. Hidden dagger. 4 levels in hidden. You don't level up your skills like that in 5th ed D&D. That is not how it works. And to be able to do it, I mean, I could probably go, yeah, at level 1 I will have 2 levels in hidden dagger. Thank you very much. I can't really get my head around that. It's a bit of an abomination. It's what have you done? You've just, up until that point it was going okay, and then you hit me with this abomination of a skill tree that makes no actual sense in the way that it works. I mean, I get that it's a computer game and things have to be converted, but really, guys, really, an imported skill tree from the likes of Dragon Age or something, and it doesn't even make any bloody sense. So, kind of disappointed. But there you have it. The last tab is summary. Name, you can choose your portrait, a couple of different voices.
Yes. Listen up.
I'll say a couple, like literally 4. Alignment, again, I don't know whether it has any in-game mechanic, seeing as you can be evil, which is kind of odd, but whatever. You can choose a deity, again, not entirely sure on in-game mechanics or engines for that. And this box down here, you can delete all that and type in whatever the hell you want for your history. So, I mean, that's kind of nice, but entirely relevant? Not sure. The other thing that I will mention about your characters that is useful, that they are persistent. So, you can create your character and you can jump into the campaign solo. You can then invite people into your game, continue the campaign and level up your character. You can drop out and you can do a dungeon crawl or a custom campaign, or join your friends' campaign. All of which you get to keep your experience, your levels and your loot from any of those scenarios. So you can jump in and out of games and save the loot you've got with that character. However, story progression only applies to a story game that you have hosted. So you can't jump into your friend's game later on in the story and expect it to progress your story. No. When you load back up your story, you will have to continue from where you saved it, which to me makes perfect sense, and I have no issue with that. So there are a few things that are right. Like I said, is it 5th ed D&D? Is it D&D at all? Barely. It scratches the surface, but they could have done a hell of a better job in my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinion. Is it any good as a game? Yeah. The game's not bad. If we cancel all this, I don't need. As you can see, I haven't got massively far with it because I've been playing with other mechanics. As you see, when I loaded up the story lobby there was 3 empty slots. You can invite friends into those slots so they can join you on your story, and you don't have to have NPCs following you around, which is always a much better way to play these games, if we're honest. That's kind of the whole point of a D&D setting, is to play with friends. Have to select somebody. Right, so this is the in-game. The graphics are not amazing, not terrible, but don't expect any high-res stuff if you scroll in,
as you wish,
because there really isn't.
at once.
The controls are all fairly simple. Over here you've got your map, you've got all your quests and what parts you've done, so forth. Your party is up here. You can turn tactics and holding and following on and off, and select the entire party at once if you wish.
What can I do for you?
You can select different ones. So, for instance, if you want to send him ahead and search for traps, you can. If you want the others to wait, you can make them wait. So following tactics are on. At the minute, they're holding and tactics are off. So he could go and scout ahead, and the others wouldn't follow and trigger anything. Down here, you've got your weapons selections and your skills, which are all on a skill numbered hotbar and all have cooldowns. I don't like it, but that's the lay of the law. So, and as in other MMOs and such, if any of you played, you have 2 lines on your hotbar, so you can skip between them. And there is a weapon switch button for ranged and melee. So that's useful to have the 2 weapon sets equipped. So there you have it. That is a brief encounter of what Sword Coast Legends is and isn't, in my opinion. Obviously everyone is entitled to their own, and I have no issue with that. That is just my view of disappointment, to be honest. It's not what I was hoping it would be. However, I'm still going to be doing videos and streaming the game with my friends, because the whole reason we looked at it in the first place was the 4-player co-op and 1 dungeon master. So essentially 5 people playing at once and 1 person DMing for them. I haven't done that yet. I'm in the middle of making some dungeons and such for tonight, in fact, which will be live on Twitch around 8 PM. I'll put the link in the description if you guys want to check that out later. So all in all, as a game it's decent. As D&D, I'm not convinced, but I'm going to stick with it, see what we can get out of it, and to be honest, I'm probably more in it for the DM and 4-player stuff rather than anything else. So we will see how that goes, and like I say, there will be videos and live streams to keep up to date with that, and perhaps I'll do a revised video of this to say, you know what, actually they've changed things, they've added things, and it is shit hot. And I hope that's the case, because I had initially high hopes for this game, which sadly didn't happen. So I think that about covers everything. If you have played the game and you want to leave your own comments and opinions or pull me up on anything, feel free to do so in the comments below. All criticism and comments are welcome. I'm not going to haze or shun anybody for that, as long as it's not blatantly offensive or derogatory for the purposes of just being an asset. So thanks for watching, and I will see you guys all next time. Bye bye.